وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. أحب الوفاء بشتى الصور. أحب الوفي الأمين الأغر. فأهل الوفاء كلام استحاب وحسن الربيع وماء المطر. مقامهم فوق رأس الجبال وفوق الروابي وعند القمر. ويا من تحب
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والعاقبة للمتقين والصلاة والسلام على رسوله الكريم سيدنا محمد وآله وأصحابه أجمعين برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين. All praise is due to Allah, the Lord, cherisher, nourisher, sustainer, and master of the universe, the most gracious, the most beneficent, the most merciful. Ya Allah, it is only you that we worship, and it's your guidance that we seek. Ya Allah, keep us on the straight path. Ya Allah, show us the choice of blessings. Ya Allah, show us your mercy. Ya Allah, guide us. Greetings, salam, salutations on our beloved Nabi Muhammadur Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. 5 minutes past 8 on this cold and freezing Saturday morning, the 21st of September 2024, the 17th of Rabiul Awal 1446. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and welcome to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar. My name is FAIZAL MJ Suleman, and inshallah I'll be a host for the next hour. Yes, indeed, a very, very, very cold Durban, in fact, a very cold KwaZulu Natal this morning. Temperatures that we haven't experienced in quite a while. And of course, I always say, irrespective, we're always thankful to the Almighty for all the blessings and all the ni'mans and all the favors that He bestows upon us. Whether it's hot, whether it's cold, we are still thankful to the Almighty. Our heart goes out to those underprivileged, those that are exposed to the cold, those that are homeless, and those that are in informal settlements, and of course those that have been working night shift, especially security guards, etc. It's been very, very, very cold out there. But as you say, let's be thankful to the Almighty that it could have been worse. Engineering for me this morning is brother Asfar Fili. Logistics will be handled by Wasima Bucks, and the program has been produced by Hajra Kota. And speaking of cold, and it is snowy conditions here in KwaZulu Natal, there's an urgent traffic update that I'd like to share with you. And it says that due to heavy snowfall, ice and rain, multiple roads in KwaZulu Natal are closed or are experiencing slow traffic. The R74, that's the Harassment to Bergville, closed due to heavy snowfall. Olifields Hook Pass, snowfall on Olifields Hook Pass. The R74, that's Greyton to Colenso, also closed. Harassment to Tugela Toll, N3 Harassment to Tugela Toll is closed, so there is no travel to KwaZulu Natal, that's advised. R617 Kokstad to Underberg closed. N2 Ngeli under close observation. N3 Mooiriver also under close observation. Tugela Plaza is closed due to weather condition. R103 is closed. The N3 North is closed at Midmar and Howick. And the traffic authorities said that do not attempt to use alternate routes as conditions are hazardous. If you're considering driving through Van Riemen's Pass, then postpone travel due to heavy snowfall and black ice. Lions River to Nottingham, driving conditions are very challenging, and vehicles are moving at 20 kilometers per hour. They have recommended that you postpone travel to snow-affected areas, avoid driving unless necessary, and keep the necessary emergency numbers handy. And if possible, then stay indoors and avoid unnecessary travel. And that's as far as the roads are concerned, especially if you're traveling between Durban and Gauteng or vice versa. Then please postpone your trip. And if you have to travel, then remember you're going to be facing various traffic hazards, road closures, etc. And exercise extreme caution, extreme patience. Just to continue, the ANC leaders pledged to honor Pravin Gordhan's legacy. Party leaders who spoke at the funeral said they remain steadfast in the commitment to honor the legacy of Pravin Gordhan. Gordhan's history with the ANC dates back to the struggle against apartheid, including being a member of the party's armed wing in Konto Besizwe. During his funeral, his fellow comrades spoke of Gordhan's unwavering dedication to the ANC's principles and the upliftment of the poor. ANC Secretary General Figile Mbalula affirmed that Gordon's legacy will not be forgotten. And ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa said, rebuilding the country will require the same commitment and courage embodied by Gordon. There's major red flags over the two-pot system in South Africa. South Africa's two-pot retirement system has seen billions fly out of retirement funds, and data from Momentum shows that the most financially vulnerable could be at risk. Since the 1st of September, 1/3 of all retirement savings have been placed into a savings pot, which can be accessed before retirement. The remaining 2/3 are put into a retirement pot, which will only be accessible upon retirement. A third vested pot will hold all the retirement savings until implementation, minus 30 rand used as seed capital in the savings pot. It will follow prior legislation. Since its launch, the system has pocketed the South African Revenue Service over 4 billion rand. Experts have warned that South Africans who withdraw from the new two-pot retirement system risk being pushed into a higher tax bracket and being taxed at a higher rate. Ahead of South Africa's cold front, Eskom says provision made to meet anticipated power demand. With cold weather expected across the country this weekend, Eskom has made provision to meet the anticipated electricity demand. A severe low-pressure system is set to sweep over large parts of the country, bringing widespread rain, cold weather, and disrupted snowfall. In Gauteng, the province's Joint Operations Committee has urged residents to only travel if necessary and to be on high alert for icy roads as snow is expected. Despite the inclement weather, Eskom spokesperson Daphne Mukwena said the power utilities generation operational recovery plan will ensure adequate power to meet the anticipated electricity demand. eThekwini blacklists 32 service providers. Ratepayers in eThekwini say the municipality's decision to cut ties with several service providers was long overdue. The city's blacklisted 8 companies which it says were linked to suspicious. The city has blacklisted 8 companies which it says were linked to suspicious activities. It says the move is part of efforts to root out fraud and corruption. 32 is the total number of banned entities. That full list will be handed over to the National Treasury and scrapped from the database. Ish Prahlad, who's with the eThekwini Ratepayers and Residents Association, says this will help the municipality to stop overspending and wasting money. You're welcome to forward to us your WhatsApp message, inspirational messages on 060 904 1056. 80% drop in rhino poaching in Shlushlu and Mfolozi Park. A rhino conversation group says there's been an 80% drop in poaching at the Shlushlu and Mfolozi Park in KZN. It is since the implementation of worldwide fund dehorning operation, which started in April this year at the park. Jeff Cook, the manager of South Africa's Rhino Conservation Program, says that in 2023, over 307 rhinos were killed in the park. Cook says something had to be done. And KZN, winter wonderland as province is blanketed in snow. KwaZulu-Natal has been turned into a winter wonderland with reports of snow coming in from southern Drakensberg, Van Rienes Pass and Nottingham Road. It's after several weather warnings were released. Heinz Fritz, the general manager of Fairbase Drakensberg Resort, says the snow is between 10 to 15 centimeters thick. He says it's currently 0 degrees Celsius. The road traffic inspector says snow is also falling in Mooiriver and Kokstad. Blind people are facing uphill battle to access Braille reading material as exemption to Copyright Act expires. Starting today, the blind and visually impaired people will no longer be allowed to turn published works into accessible formats without permission from copyright holders. On the 21st of September 2022, the Constitutional Court ruled part of the act unlawful and gave Parliament 24 months to rectify this. Whilst both Houses of Parliament have passed the Copyright Amendment Bill, it is still awaiting a signature from the President's office before it is made law. For blind or visually impaired people, the only way to access books, textbooks, and any other published works is mainly through Braille. However, the process of transcribing alphabets into Braille is expensive, as Braille paper is significantly more costly than normal sheet paper. The President's office says the bill is being processed, but no timeline on when it will be signed into law has been provided.
फिर और ना कुछ मांगे सरकार का दीवाना बार बार मदीने में हो जाए मेरा जाना पल पल मेरा दिल तड़पे दिन रात करे जारी कब आओ मदीने में कब आओ मेरी बारी कब जाके मैं देखूंगा दरबार वो शाहाना दरबार मदीने में जाए मेरा जान.
Our first message comes from Sister Layla Mehta. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to the blessed Ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Peace, blessings and salutations be upon Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Alhamdulillah for the blessings of another day as it glorifies from sujood. Our legacy and influence in the lives of our friends and family will speak after we depart from this temporary world. May Allah SWT shower His infinite mercy, protection and blessings upon the Ummah of Nabi Kareem sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Have a blessed weekend full of ease, goodness and success. Ameen. Salams and dua, Sister Layla Mehta and family. Inspiring reflection says, true success is not measured by fame or fortune, but by the positive impact we make on others and the personal growth we achieve along the way. And the hadith says, Bismillahi walhamdulillahi wassalatu wassalam ala rasulillah. Abu Sa'id radiallahu anhu narrated that Jibreel alayhi salam came to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam and said, "O Muhammad, are you suffering?" He said, "Yes." He said, "In the name of Allah, I recite a prayer, ruqya over you from the evil of every person and evil eye. In the name of Allah, I recite a prayer, ruqya over you. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala cure you." Alhamdulillah, jazakallah khair, Sister Layla Mehta. And message from Sister Ruqayya. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, my dear brother Faizal and the Rise and Shine team. Wa alaikum salam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh to you. Pearl of wisdom by Allah Azza wa Jal. Put the love and respect of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam into your children's heart, as this is the foundation of roots of faith. What the right hand gives, the left hand must not know. Ameen. The most humbling thing is to be grateful for the ordinary things that makes you smile and fill your love with happiness. Alhamdulillah. Depositing my duas to you, my brother Faizal and family. Allah SWT aap aur aapki family ko hamesha khush aur salamat rakhe, inshallah. Ameen. Sister Ruqayya, jazakallah khair for that beautiful message and dua, Sister Ruqayya. Sorry, and next message comes from brother Huzair, and he sends me a beautiful picture. Oh, it's all white. Snow. It's all snow on N3 Montrose at 5:40 this morning, and he says that urgent traffic update which he forwards to us says that due to heavy snowfall, ice and rain, multiple roads in KwaZulu-Natal are closed, experiencing slow traffic. We've read this list out earlier, brother Huzair, but jazakallah khair, please keep us updated.
Devon, 90.4 FM. Peter Maritzburg, 105.6 FM.
A reminder that in the atrium overport, you will find Chippewa Spur, our halal steak sizzle, our beef ribs are delicious, and our burgers are legendary. The combos are perfect for big appetites. We have plant-based options too, and mouth-watering desserts. Pop in anytime for all your favorite Spur food. We are open from 8 in the morning to 9 p.m. Chippewa Spur at the atrium. People with a taste for life.
Imagine a place where luxury knows no bounds. This September, Al-Ansar presents the Diamond Walk at Saxony Westwood Mall, an affair where the ordinary transforms into the extraordinary. From September 26th to 29th, journey through a world of refined taste and unmatched elegance. Discover the newest culinary masterpieces, be captivated by the latest fashion, and lose yourself in the allure of the Dawood Entertainment stage. We invite you to indulge in life's most exquisite pleasures. And yes, it's all within your reach. Welcome to the Diamond Walk, where your VIP dreams come true.
Ladies, are you concerned about your health and well-being? Then the Al-Ansar Cancer Support Group's annual Cancer Awareness and Chai Day is for you. Dynamic speakers, health and wellness exhibition, and awesome tea garden. Lucky draws, free blood pressure and sugar checks, free entry. Join us on Saturday, 12 October 2024 at the Al-Ansar Conference Center, 207 West Road in Overport from 9 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. Let's unite to fight cancer's might. For inquiries, contact Rabina Parak on 082-786-8815 or Zora Jadwat on 08222-03131.
Have you heard? Heard what? The latest. Join me, Kelly Ramazani, for a brand new exciting show every Saturday from 9 a.m. to 10 a.m. for the ultimate guide to navigating the world of careers. We talk about side hustles, unpack careers that are in demand, careers that do not need a degree, job searching, career advancement, personal development, and so much more. Tune in every Saturday, 9 to 10 a.m. to unlock the path of your dream job.
Radio Al-Ansar, 24/7, 365.
Community good guest. Rise and shine on Radio Al-Ansar, myself, FAIZAL MJ SULEMAN, and the Etegwini Metro Police are warning motorists against using number plates with the incorrect font. On Tuesday, they fined a driver for tampering with his license plate and altering the car's suspension. According to the government, only the GE font can be used on South Africans' number plates. We have online with us Metro Police spokesperson Colonel Boyce Zungu. Colonel Zungu, sorry, I think we're trying to get hold of him. Okay. All right, we're going to be getting hold of Colonel Zungu very shortly. In the meantime, let's listen to this nasheed. Rise and shine, Radio Al-Ansar and the Etegwini Metro Police are warning motorists against using number plates with the incorrect font. On Tuesday, they fined a driver for tampering with his license plate and altering the car's suspension. According to the government, only the GE font can be used on South African number plates. We have online with us Metro Police spokesperson Colonel Boyce Zungu. Colonel Zungu, good morning to you and thank you for joining me in the program this morning.
Good morning to you and your listeners.
So, as I introduced the segment, I said that, the eThekwini Metro Police are warning motorists against using number plates with the incorrect font. Now, why is the GE font specifically required for South African number plates, and what makes it different from other fonts?
The GE font is required for South African number plate to ensure consistency, clarity, and legibility for both human readers and automated systems such as traffic cameras and licensing plate recognition system. Its specific design helps to standardize number plate nationwide, making any tempered or alternative easily noticeable. This uniformity is key to reduce errors in identifying vehicles and maintaining law enforcement efficiency.
Now, Colonel, what are the penalties for tampering with number plates, such as using an unauthorized font or altering the plate's appearance?
Tampering with number plates, including using unauthorized font or modifying the appearance, is a violation of South African law in terms of National Road Traffic Act. Penalties may include fines, vehicle impoundment, and in serious cases, criminal charges can be laid. Additionally, drivers can receive demerit points under administrative adjudication of road traffic offences ARTO system, which could impact their ability to hold a valid driver's license. I'm sure we have heard about this new system. Yes, it's not yet implemented in South Africa, but in the near future will be implemented.
How does altering the suspension of a vehicle tie into these regulations, and what risk does it pose to road safety?
Yes, modifying a vehicle suspension can impact its roadworthiness, potentially compromising safety. A vehicle with an altered suspension may not meet the necessary safety standard required by law, leading to issues with stability, braking, and handling of the vehicle. While suspension changes are not directly linked to number plate regulation, a non-roadworthiness vehicle could be flagged by law enforcement, resulting in fines or penalties and removable from the road.
And you did mention earlier about the various systems that will be affected if one uses the wrong font. But how does using an incorrect font or tampering with number plates affect law enforcement's ability to do their job effectively?
Tampering with number plates, such as using an unauthorized font, make it harder for a law enforcement to identify vehicles accurately, both visually and through automated system. This can delay investigation, lead to misidentification of a vehicle, and hinder enforcement of traffic laws. Consistency in number plates helps ensure that vehicles can be correctly tracked and identified in real time, which is critical for traffic control and crime prevention as well.
Now, are there any common misconceptions that motorists have regarding the legal specifications for number plates that you'd like to clarify?
Yes, a common misconception is that small modifications such as using a different font or adding decorative element to number plate are acceptable. In reality, any deviation from the prescribed specification rendered the plate illegally. Motorists should ensure their plates meet legal requirements to avoid fines, penalties, and complication with law enforcement. Another misconception is that non-standard materialized or formats are permissible, but only the government-approved formats are allowed.
Now, those that are issuing these number plates, what I mean, if I'm to purchase a number plate for my vehicle, I'm going to go to a registered number plate shop, if I can call it that way, ask them to make a number plate for my vehicle. Now, aren't they bound by law to maintain certain standards to sort of ensure that they dispense number plates which are in a particular font and don't deviate from it?
They are bound by law, but remember they are doing business.
Yes, of course.
So if you remember the client is always correct in terms of business people. So it's your own baby if you doing what you want to do, but they give you what you want. Yes, they advise you this is a legible one, but if you need this one, because they need money, they'll do it for you.
Yeah.
But it's your baby. We won't go to them and say why you did this.
Mm-hmm.
We don't even ask who did this for you.
Okay. So the buck stops with the driver. You make sure that you're the owner of the vehicle, you're the driver, you make sure that your number plates are correct, they follow the correct fonts. You don't blame anyone else. Colonel Zungu.
Yeah, that's correct. We charge you for displaying, you as a driver, for displaying a incorrect number plate. Mm-hmm. We don't ask where you bought it.
Okay. I was just trying to find some scapegoat because the misdemeanor is glaring in an incorrect font on a number plate. Colonel Zungu, I want to thank you. Also, thank you for joining me on the program. But before you leave us, do you have a message for our listeners?
All what I can say to the motorists, they must do away from displaying incorrect number plate. They must do away with modifying of their vehicles, because that will, one, is not safety for them. Mm-hmm. Two, that will lead them to find themselves behind the bars.
I think that was a very strict warning. But Colonel Zungu, thank you very much for joining me on the program this morning, and enjoy the weekend, and all the best to you, sir.
Same to you and your listeners. Thank you. The weather is bad. Let's advise motorists to be careful, mm-hmm. To keep following distance, ensure that the lights are on when they're driving. Speed kill. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Colonel. All the best to you.
Thank you.
We spoke to Colonel Boyce Zungu, and he warned us that we should get the correct font when we're getting our number plates. That's the GE font, as they call it, and we must ensure that when we're getting this font, we're getting the correct font. Also, he's warned us of the inclement weather conditions, so let's maintain road safety. We know the drill, so let's keep our distances, and of course, travel only if necessary.
दिल से हजार बार मदीना तुझे सलाम आका का तू दयार मदीना तुझे सलाम दिल से हजार बार मदीना तुझे सलाम लारे पारिदश्ते मदीना के हुस्न पर लारे पारिदश्ते मदीना के हुस्न पर
Fade. Okay. Sorry about that. All right, message comes from Mrs. Rahman. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Faizal, it was good to listen to all the alims who lectured on our Nabi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Each one brought something different to the table. May Allah bless and reward them in abundance. Last Saturday night, I had an amazing dream. I was standing outside and saw two men descending from the sky. They brought a gift for me. I did not see the gift because I woke from my sleep. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala shower you with his richest blessings and have a wonderful day. Mrs. Rahman, Jazakallah khair for that, Mrs. Rahman. Wow, I got a message from my sister, Mrs. Fatima Bibi Isa. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. A tear is made of 1% water and 99% feelings. Each drop of a tear is more costly than anything in this world. But no one knows its value until they have it in their own eyes. No one knows the pain of another till they experience it themselves. May Allah SWT save us from the extreme hardships and burdens, and also accept all our ibadah and make the only tears in our eyes be due to our love and fear for him alone. May Allah SWT protect our children and bring shifa to all of us sick and Jannatul Firdaus to all of us deceased. Ameen Ya Rabbal Alameen. Jazakallah khair. That comes from Mrs. Fatima Bibi Isa. And message from Brother Yusuf Patel. Children do not realize until years have flown how thoughtful are the parents' ways, how very much they own, how loving are the parents' hearts, how deep is their concern, how many special things they do with no thought of return. But by and by, they come to see and realize their worth and know for sure their parents are their dearest friends on earth. Know then that parents come with their love by expiry date. Beware, my child, don't leave it for too late and forever tear. Salams and duas, Brother Yusuf Patel. When the elderly die, a library is lost and volumes of wisdom and knowledge are gone forever. That comes from Brother Yusuf Patel. Jazakallah khair for the beautiful message, Brother Yusuf Patel. Yes, we should love, cherish, and love and cherish our parents and obtain the most wisdom that we can from them. And inshallah ta'ala, make dua all those who have their parents, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant them long, healthy and prosperous lives. And of course, those who don't have their parents, then maybe send eternal isal sawab, immense isal sawab for them, and may all their qabrs will be filled with nur, and of course may they be granted complete maghfirah and the highest stages in Jannatul Firdaus. Ameen.
इंतजार मदीना तुझे सदा अस्सलामु अलैकुम आओ सुनाओ आपको जिंदगी का ये प्यार उम्मत के महबूब थे प्यारे हमारे नबी काश मैं उनके चेहरे को देख सकूं बस मेरी ये इल्तिजा अब मेरी रातों की ये दुआ है ख्वाबों
Lebanese citizens on high alert after more booby-trapped communication devices exploded nationwide on Wednesday. Walkie-talkies used by Hezbollah detonated a day after thousands of pages exploded, killing at least 25 more people and bringing the death toll to at least 37. No one has claimed responsibility, but the attacks are believed to have originated from Israel. Meanwhile, the Israeli military has resumed bombing Hezbollah targets and approved a plan for northern Israel. Let's listen to the audio clip which says funerals were held in Beirut after 2 days of explosions.
It's being described as one of the biggest security breaches in Hezbollah's history. 2 days of coordinated explosions targeting fighters but killing civilians.
Of course we are scared. My children, my siblings' children, all of us. Who can feel safe in this situation?
On Wednesday, hundreds of handheld radios exploded across Lebanon. 1 day earlier, it was pagers that were detonating. Hezbollah had been using the low-tech electronics for about 5 months in a bid to prevent mobile phone hacks.
This has become an international issue now, and we're the victims caught in the middle.
The walkie-talkies bear the label of Japanese company ICOM Incorporated.
It is impossible to set some kind of explosive device during the production process. We have a robotic production line and it's very fast, so there's no time to set up an explosive device.
ICOM says the product had been exported to the Middle East between 2004 and 2014, but was discontinued about 10 years ago, and questions if the radios were knockoffs.
I have a black and white picture of the device that exploded. The hologram sticker should be here. The fact that the sticker is not on here means that we cannot determine if it's genuine.
What is very real, however, are the injuries. Hospitals in Lebanon are still struggling to cope with thousands of patients.
They had puncture wounds on their faces, they had amputated limbs, they had open abdomens, intestines out, bowels out. It was the first time I ever see wounds like that.
There are suggestions, both from inside and outside Lebanon, that the attacks may be a war crime.
The use of this non-discriminatory force or attacks, which clearly will affect civilians, is something, in my mind, is something against international humanitarian law.
Illegal or otherwise, Lebanon is in a state of fear. Melinda Nusafora, TRT World.
देना हो जाए दीदारे नबी प्यारे नबी ओ प्यारे नबी ओ प्यारे नबी
Sparkle. Captivate. Nothing less than a masterpiece. Droplets of gold inspires precious design. Platinum bursts with intricate freshness. And every pure diamond becomes more than just a girl's best friend. Voda Gold Gem Jewelers, where timeless dreams become a reality. We tailor-make designer gold, platinum, and diamond jewelry. Trade in or remodel your old gold. Clad yourself with classy name-branded watches. We offer insurance valuation and free zakat calculation. Visit us at 534 Ridge Road, Overport, or call 031-208-9142.
Discover a world of financial wisdom. From centuries-old traditions to modern wealth, our innovative Sharia banking offerings ensure you can grow and secure your legacy while staying true to your values. Let us guide you on your journey to virtuous financial well-being and help you bank with purpose. Search Standard Bank Sharia Banking to learn more. Standard Bank is an authorized FSP and registered credit provider. T's and C's apply.
Join Huda SA as we raise funds to complete phase 2 of the finishes of the Ilovo Masjid construction. We humbly request your generous Sadaqah Ejariya and Lillah donations. Your contribution helps build a masjid and earn everlasting rewards. For more information, contact Huda SA on 031 271 3049 or visit www.huda-int.org. Act now and earn your share of sawab. Donate today. Huda SA, building communities, strengthening faith.
The Outrage Slice of Life campaign. Since its inception, our Slice of Life has touched the lives of countless individuals through our distribution to schools, old age homes, orphanages, and deserving families within our community. This initiative has been instrumental in alleviating hunger. For only 9 Rand a loaf, you will be providing a family with their daily staple, bread. Donate now on www.alansar.org.za or call Outreach on 031 208 1601.
عجبا عجبت لغفلة الإنسان قطع الحياة بعزة وأمان فكرت في الدنيا فكانت منزلا عندي كبعض منازل الرهبان عجبا
You're listening to Rising Channel Radio Al Ansar, and in South Africa, nearly 1 in 9 adults are affected by diabetes, impacting around 4.4 million people between the ages of 20 and 79. Globally, diabetes is the 4th leading cause of blindness and the most common cause of vision loss amongst working age South Africans. We have online with us Dr. Matt Young, a member of the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa. Dr. Young, good morning to you, and thank you for joining me on the program this morning.
Good morning to you on this cold, chilly morning.
Yes, in fact, I was wondering whether I was in Durban when I had to take off my jersey, my warm hat, and my jacket. Yeah. Now, doctor, can you explain how diabetes leads to diabetic retinopathy and why early detection is so crucial?
It's actually a great question. So the problem with diabetes, everybody knows about, is the sugar levels. But what a lot of people don't know about is what those rising sugar levels do. And essentially, it starts to turn into a plumbing problem. So the abnormal blood sugar levels for a long period of time cause the blood in blood vessels to become a bit more sticky and sludgy, and they cause blockages. And so the smallest blood vessels in the body are the ones that start off And those are areas in the body like the kidneys and the nerves in the feet, and of course in the eyes themselves. So the advantage with the eyes is that when we look into the back part of the eye, what we call the retina, that's a nerve layer, we can look directly at blood vessels. So using magnifying lenses and cameras, we can actually look at the blood vessels and we can see the changes happening. And we know that that obviously is good for picking up early visual changes, but it's also good for guiding the general doctors as to how well the patient is controlled. So we can look at those changes, we can analyze where they are in the process of diabetic changes and advise on management. So there's two tiers. There's obviously we're trying to avoid visual loss at all costs. But more importantly, we know that correlating with abnormal changes in the blood vessel, there's also abnormal changes in other vessels and leading to an increased risk of conditions like strokes and heart attacks and kidney disease, which are life-threatening. So there's obviously the visual angle of trying to stop visual loss, but we also just see the patient as the whole picture. We want to prevent long-term problems. So it's a very important change.
And doctor, what are the main challenges in educating the public about the importance of regular eye screenings for diabetic patients?
I think it's the same as the challenges of understanding the disease, because I think a lot of people just see the number when they test their blood sugar levels and know about the correlation to overeating and to lifestyle and that sort of thing. But the importance is really to make them understand the changes in what that means long term, because inevitably with time, the longer you have been a diabetic and the worse your control, the more chance there is that you start to develop strain and changes in all the blood vessels of the organs, and then all the complications occur. So the challenge is really to make people understand why it's important to look for early disease, because it allows us to then optimize the control. In other words, to make people understand that once you start to see those first changes in the blood vessels, that's the important time in terms of looking at really improving control and understanding the disease better. So it's an opportunity for education more than anything else.
And what are the current treatment options available for diabetic retinopathy, and how effective are they in preventing vision loss?
So diabetic retinopathy refers to the changes that you see in blood vessels. And like I explained to you just now, you can think of those blood vessels supplying that very important nerve layer, the retina. They get blocked. And so there's areas in the retina that start to have relatively poor blood supply. And as a result of that, as they go into that pattern of being under strain, they start to create sort of factors or hormones in the eye that are trying to increase circulation, trying to repair themselves. And the increase in that substance causes new and brittle blood vessels to develop, which are liable to leaking. And once you start getting this pattern of bursting blood vessels that are leaking and then they seal up, they create scar tissue, which causes trouble. So the primary focus is to pick up the abnormalities early. And then we can institute a number of things. Probably the mainstay in our context is still using the laser to seal those abnormal blood vessels. So we apply a laser to the areas of the retina that are poorly circulated to try and stop those leaking and bleeding changes from happening. If it goes a bit further, we've got a number of medications which we have started to use for injecting into the eye, which basically does the same thing, controls those abnormal blood vessels and causes them to dry up so that they can't leak and they can't bleed. So between the laser treatment and injecting various types of medication, we can usually get control if we get the patients early enough before there's structural change. Once there's structural change, once there's scar tissue which is pulling on the retina, then it becomes a surgical issue. Then we have to repair that by removing the scar tissue with an operation, and that's obviously much more extensive.
Mm-hmm. And how does vision loss due to diabetes impact the patient's quality of life and socioeconomic status in South Africa?
So I think all visual loss is very important, and especially as a lot of our patients are with that level of disease are usually in the older categories of patients. And so they become dependent on other family members. So it becomes an important disease for the patient and their lifestyle. They might not be able to read so easily or do simple tasks like watch TV, do their sewing, even keep the regular job. Usually once they start to develop other complications like problems with the kidneys or the heart, there's a chance that they start missing more work, start being more dependent on other family members who are working. But more importantly, it's really difficult if you start to lose the ability to read some of the smaller things. And on a practical level, that also impacts on seeing the amount of insulin you have to dose in those patients that are on insulin, because you can't actually see enough to test your sugars and to dial up the amount of dosage that you need to give yourself. So there's a huge impact to visual loss generally in a patient's life.
Dr. Young, what are the long-term strategies needed to improve diabetic care and reduce the incidence of diabetic retinopathy in South Africa?
I think the most important is, as you started touching on earlier, is education and screening. We really have to work on a pattern of holistic care where once a patient becomes diabetic, they understand the impact of long-term changes. They understand the impact of aiming for good control from the very beginning, and also just educating them about the impact of screening. So screening would take the form of not only monitoring your diabetic disease, so seeing your doctor regularly to see that you are actually achieving the target blood sugar levels that we are aiming for, but then also to use things like screening the urine for kidney disease or screening the eyes for eye disease, and making people realize that you don't wait until you have visual loss before you go for screening, that screening inherently is looking at you when you don't have disease, because you can't really see the early changes. In other words, there's no symptoms that go along with early changes of diabetic disease. So we are screening you and picking up early changes so that we can get treatment involved before it's a problem. And that's the most important. So educating people about how the disease works and why it's important to maintain a long-term holistic approach on that. And also the power of screening and what it means to not only to reducing the chance of having visual loss, but reducing the chance of you having a fatal event like a heart attack or a serious event like a stroke.
Dr. Young, I want to thank you for joining me on the program this morning. But before you leave us, I'm sure you have a message for our listeners, sir.
Well, I just think this diabetes is a very important disease, and I think it's great that people are listening in and trying to understand the disease. And I think just go early for your checks, try and understand the disease, visit a dietitian, try and understand what it is you can do right there in your own home to avoid complications.
Thank you so much, Dr. Young, and enjoy the weekend. All the best to you. And
thanks for having me on the show.
Thank you. We spoke to Dr. Matt Young, a member of the Ophthalmological Society of South Africa, and he spoke to us about diabetes, the rise of diabetes, and of course the diabetic patients that run a risk of vision loss. And of course it was quite very informative. You are listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleiman, and there are a few messages that have come through. Okay, let's just see if we can open some of those messages. Okay, it's the earlier message. Salam's good advice from Colonel Zungu. Appreciate if you can provide Colonel cell number, please. Wanted to speak to him, municipal infrastructure being vandalized, roadway, etc. We will get his consent and forward the number to you, inshallah. Message comes from a sister that's called. Oh, it's a birthday message from Sister Amina. She's 75 years old from Overport, and she says, happy birthday to her daughter-in-law Amina and son Imran Langri. May Allah SWT grant them happiness, good health and success, inshallah. Ameen. Jazakallah khair for those messages. You are listening to Rise and Shine on Radio Al Ansar with myself, Faizal MJ Suleiman.
Allah, 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 Allah.
بطويل المدى عرفتك متقطا بالصعاب عرفتك في كل شيء بدا وفي البحر أو في مرور السحاب
Alan 365.
Are you or a loved one battling the disease of addiction? Is your family, life, relationships, work suffering due to alcoholism and substance abuse? Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center are addiction specialists offering specialized psychotherapy and naltrexone therapy to help overcome addiction. Zensai offers hotel-style facilities to allow your loved ones to regain their dignity and overcome alcoholism and drug abuse in the most comfortable setting possible. Fight addiction. Call Zensai Treatment, Recovery and Wellness Center, the addiction recovery specialist on 031 563 0751.
It's Bawa Superstore's Big Birthday Bash. From 13th to 21st September, get mind-blowing deals on top brands like Kenwood, Samsung, LG, Defy, Sealy, Grafton, and more. Hurry to 9 Murchison Street, Newcastle, or 439 Victoria Street, Pietermaritzburg, where you pay less and get more in our birthday bash. Don't miss out.
Bawa's where shopping is fun. And you are number one.
Come get our butcher's best for less at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Enjoy certified halal butchery products like thick khabao wors, $79.99 per kg, bulk lean beef mince, just $89.99 per kg, and Simple Truth natural leg of lamb, just $139.99 per kilo. Deals valid until Sunday, September 22nd. Only at Checkers Foods Cowie Park. Now certified by the NIHT, the National Independent Halal Trust, across our butchery, bakery, and deli.
Feel good food all day, every day. The Al Ansar Deli, here to tantalize your taste buds. Visit our sit-in deli and try our daily specials at 207 West Road, Overport. Open weekdays 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Saturdays 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. Close on Sundays and public holidays. Call 031-208-1601. Al Ansar Deli, feel good food.
أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ادعو إلى سبيل ربك بالحكمة وموعظة الحسنة وجادلهم بالتي هي أحسن.
Invite all to the way of thy Lord with wisdom and beautiful preaching, and reason with them in the ways that are best and most gracious. Join Shabir Pasha every Saturday 7 p.m. for Dawah Dynamic Show.
اقرأ أخيا ورتل القرآن اصدح بصوتك اسمع الأكوان اقرأ كلام الله داوي نفوسنا.
Before we round up, a message has come through. It says that the WhatsApp message comes through, says the Rusa helicopter has been grounded, Durban KZN. Reaction Unit South Africa has dispatched a team of paramedics and reaction officers in 4x4 rescue vehicles to assist motorists stranded on the N3 in Harrismith, Free State. The RUSA Operations Center became inundated with calls from stranded motorists since 4 a.m. this morning requesting assistance. The callers reported that the elderly and children were without water, food and medication for approximately 12 hours in freezing temperatures. The calls were received from Van Riemen's Pass and Harrismith, approximately 340 kilometers from the Rusa headquarters. The Robinson R44 helicopter has been grounded due to heavy snowfall, fog, rain, and poor visibility along the route. Let's make dua. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala makes it easy for all those that have been stranded, and that help reaches them as soon as possible. And they are, of course, they are relieved, as the conditions are absolutely cold. It's freezing out there. I received another message. I'm getting some very long messages here coming through, but I will just take one message before I round up. A few messages says, Assalamu alaikum. Ya Allah, never let our heart be distressed by the trials of life. Open the doors of your mercy on us. Ease our ways of life. Accept our worship. Forgive our sins and grant us favor in everything we do, and never forsake us in this world and the hereafter. I thank you for that. There's another update on the situation on the N3 Montrose. I'm just going to read that. It comes in from Sadie. Oh, okay. These are all pictures that are coming through. Jazakallah khair, but of course the pictures show lots of snow. Another message that comes through says that sometimes all you need is time alone with Allah, a dark room, peace and serenity. Raise your hands and let your dua flow from your tongue, like your life depended on it. Another message that comes through, I think this is probably going to be the last message that I'm reading, says, Hasbunallah wa ni'mal wakil, sufficient for us is Allah, and life is the best. And He is the best disposer of our affairs. You may feel lonely, but you really have the best company ever. Allah. Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah khair for that. Asfar Fili, thank you for engineering for me. Wasima Bucks, thank you for the logistics. And Hajra Kota, thank you for the production. Immediately after this, you're going to be listening to Tabile Duma with the news, and thereafter we'll be joining Kelly Ramzani on Career Compass. Do stay tuned to Radio Al-Ansar. Have a wonderful day. I know it's nice and cold outside, it's freezing, but let's keep ourselves warm. And remember, if you can stay home, then don't leave because the roads are bad. For myself, FAIZAL MJ Sulaiman, enjoy the weekend, and it's Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
لنحس في أعماقنا الإيمان اقرأ خيرا اقرأ خيرا ورتل القرآن رتل فإن الكون نحوك شاخص فامنح له مما تجهد أمانا رتل فإن قلوبنا مشتاقة وازرع بصوتك في الجنان جنانا وسر وجودنا من غيره ما أشرقت دنيانا يا أمة القرآن سوري شرعا واروي به كونا غدا عطشانا
Radio Al-Ansar, Durban 90.4 FM, Peter Maritzburg 105.6 FM.
An informative Islamic global perspective. This is Al-Ansar News.
Breaking news at 9, authorities in KwaZulu-Natal have put emergency workers on high alert as the South African Weather Service's weather systems have predicted a snowstorm to hit Uthugela and Okahlamba this weekend. Good morning, I'm Tabila Duma. Authorities in KwaZulu-Natal have put emergency workers on high alert as the South African Weather Service's weather systems have predicted a snowstorm to hit Uthugela and Okahlamba this weekend. Snow has been predicted for several parts of South Africa, with the Eastern Cape already reporting snowfall yesterday. In KwaZulu-Natal, Thulasizwe Buthelezi, MEC for Cooperative Governance and Traditional Affairs, warned the residents of severe weather conditions expected to affect large parts of the province from yesterday into the weekend. The South African Weather Service said that a level 6 disruptive snow can be expected in parts of the Uthugela, Hirikwala and Umgungundlovu districts. The roads, especially the N3, are expected to be busy this weekend as it signals at the start of the school holiday. Kokda said that a level 2 disruptive snow warning has also been issued for parts of the Ugu, Uthugela, Umgungundlovu, Hirikwala and Amajuba districts. Buthelezi said the disaster management teams were on high alert and would be monitoring any developments. Fraud accused fugitive Michael Loma spent his first night behind bars in South Africa after being extradited from the UK yesterday morning. Lomas, who faces 41 corruption charges linked to a 1.5 billion rand Eskom scandal, was handed over to the Hawks by the South Interpol unit following 5 failed illegal bids to stop his extradition. The 77-year-old, who was arrested in the UK in 2021, was previously granted bail of 6 million rands. Yesterday, he made a brief appearance in the Campton Park Magistrates Court, where his case was postponed for a formal bail application. Lomas previously paid an initial 1.7 million rands bail and a 4.3 million rand surety in the UK, but now finds himself once again needing to convince a South African court to grant him bail. His failure to comply with previous bail conditions abroad may impact his new application. Lomas's case, which for now stands alone, is expected to be merged with that of 11 others accused of corrupt dealings at Eskom. Meanwhile, the alleged victims of prominent